Hello, everybody. I'm Tom Denford, co-founder and CEO of ID Comms. Welcome to another Media Snack Meets, where we get to meet the individuals and organizations doing great work to inspire success and drive change within the global media and marketing industry. Because the best are short on time, I ask 6 questions in just 15 minutes or less, and we get to learn what's behind that success, how to make change in the industry, and maybe what the rest of us can learn from that experience. My guest for this episode is Marla Skiko, the Global Head of Media for Ford. Hey, guys.
Hello, gentlemen.
Where are you? There you are.
Cheers.
Hey, Marla.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Good to see you.
Good to
Lots
see
of
you.
friends, probably. You can see in the titles there.
Yeah, so much fun. That's great.
Good. Well, listen, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. You've got a lot of stuff going on at the moment. So we're really keen just to do this, as you know, in 15 minutes or less. And we go through the 6 questions, which you've seen. So let's kick straight off. As I said, you are, for the last few years, you've been Global Head of Media at Ford. But maybe you can explain to the viewers kind of what your remit is right now. And also, we'd love guests share something that you're most proud of, either in your current role or something in your career so far.
Okay, great. So yes, I joined Ford Motor Company in January of 2020. So an interesting time to be joining a new company. I was there for 8 weeks pre-COVID in person. And then since then, helping bring together my teams on the global side and on the US side in this mode that we're all in. It's been a great ride. I think for those who are following the auto industry, we're in such an era of transformation right now as we think about how vehicles you can be connected to your vehicle and to other people. It's more about a software story than hardware. Yes, we're selling vehicles, but we're also selling a lot more than that and trying to be part of everybody's daily life. So that transformation into a lifestyle brand is what our ambition is, as we also think about electrification and electric vehicles. So we have a ton going on, and it's been super exciting to be in the business as we think about transforming and actually make that transformation happen. Fantastic.
Very good. Okay, so prior to Ford, you spent a few years at different Publicis agencies, I know. But you've had a really good perspective of the media industry now from different sides. So what for you is the best thing about working in media and in the role, as you say, in the transformation of a business at the moment?
Yes. Hands down, the best thing about being in media is the people who are in media. It's really interesting as you go from agency holding companies, smaller agencies, marketer side. If you're in media, you are very likely to be extremely passionate about what you do. I've worked on teams that are extremely caring. We care for each other. At the same time, we care about really doing great work. So the people I've worked with have they make the industry. It's the reason that people stay. It's the reason people love what we do. We feel like we're in it together. And I felt that across many of the teams that I've been on, whether agency side or definitely now at Ford.
Good, very good. Okay, so let's flip that. I love it. I love this question because there's so many different answers, because you can't focus on one particular thing, but there's lots of challenges, good and bad, in the media industry. Half of it is just keeping up with what's going on half the time, I think. Mm-hmm. But from your perspective, now you have a global remit as a media leader within a business. Mm-hmm. What are the key challenges that you discuss at Ford?
Wow. Challenge is sort of the name of the game right now. We're challenged in ways we didn't expect. We are challenged because of the effects of coming out of COVID, the supply chain challenges and microchip challenges. Just those types of issues are making it such that we sit in a really different state than we ever would have thought of, where we have consumer demand super high and we're having a hard time meeting that demand. The whole industry is. So it's an issue and a problem that has never been felt before. So it's being in a business that is immensely challenged just to be able to to meet the demands of consumers. consumers, which is a great problem to have, right? But as it goes on and on, it becomes extremely challenging for the business. So working in that environment is it's pushing on all of our creativity so that we think about how we maximize and grow the brand, even when we're in a place where we're not meeting the needs for consumers, and we really need to be cognizant of that and showing up for people in the best way we can while we're trying to solve some of these issues that are out of our control.
Yeah, it's interesting you said it, 'cause I've spoken to quite a few media directors over the last year or so, anticipating supply chain issues in all different categories. And that's been a really consistent message. Actually, you can tell the difference between the way media is set up in different businesses, because those that have viewed media as an investment in growth.
Yes.
And if you don't mind me using the analogy, see media as an engine for growth.
Yep.
You can put your foot on the gas to drive demand, and the business understands that dynamic. And what's interesting now, given those supply chain challenges, is media directors saying, actually, we can feather off, right? Or even hit the brakes a little bit to manage demand to meet supply chain, which is a really interesting, yet another new role for a media director to play. It's interesting that you're saying the same thing.
Yep, that's exactly right. And thinking about how you use the media channels you do use, supply or demand, regardless, it's important that people are thinking of your brand and how they think about your brand. And particularly when we're trying to bring new consumers and maybe customers that have not been loyal to the brand, how do we change that? Even as we're dealing with immediate short-term issues that we are.
Very good. So I'm sensing here, I don't want to put words into your mouth, but this is what we're observing. A lot of media directors actually, profile is raising within their businesses often. And because of the large investment that you can influence, that you are seen as an influential leader within the business. So our next question, which I always love this question. So do you have a piece of advice, leadership advice, something is said to you that really sticks with you, that's given you, helped you make decisions or navigate your career, or something that you share with others that you think is helpful?
Yes, yeah, for sure. When I was growing up in the industry, I've had leaders tell me, if you want something, be purposeful about it and don't wait for it to happen, make it happen. And I would say the same thing for those people who I've either mentored, who have been on my team. Have a goal for what you want. And don't just hope for it. Really, what are the steps that I would need to take? What are the roles I would need to get myself into? If I ultimately want to be here, how do I get there? And be intentional about what it takes, and bring your mentor or your boss, your supervisor in on it so they can help you. But really guide your future, because you're your own best advocate. And you hear that a lot, but it really is true. Instead of waiting, it's good to be really, really intentional and think about it and then make it happen. Good.
Love that. And you're quite legendary with just the energy that you have. I mean, you must have, you infect teams with kind of energy and enthusiasm, I'm sure, which probably comes quite naturally. Let's talk about outside of work then. As you said, a lot going on in the industry right now. So put media aside, where would we find you relaxing?
Well, relaxing is a really good word. I don't know that I'm good at relaxing. I need to spend more time relaxing. But what really feeds me is fitness is really important to me. I need, whether it's running or walking or weights or yoga, to free my mind up and to get really good ideas. I need space in my own head. And it's hard to do that with so many people, that you have to engage with, whether it's your home life or your work life. So I find that a really great way to get balance for me. So some sort of fitness activity has to happen for me. Even if it's a brief time, I need to make that happen. It charges me up, and it helps me get really good ideas and think clearly.
Very good. Love that. Cool. So finally, we talked to some of the challenges and what's great about the industry. Just fast forward a year from now, what would you hope to see in the industry? What can we all be doing to be better, do you think?
Well, one thing I think that there's a lot of conversation about, but we need to really get right, is we've been in this weird balance of fully virtual, and we really want to be back together again, but we're never going to be back to the way we were. There is no going back to normal. So being really careful and deliberate about how we create a new normal, I think, is important. I mean, oftentimes if you're not in the room, you feel left out. We have to make that not be a thing. If you're not in the room, you need to feel part of the conversation. And so I think really having conversations in our companies and comparing notes with other people and other companies, how do we achieve that? How do we make sure everybody's included, and how do we stay productive when we're not all in one mode or another, but it's mixed mode? And how do we get that right? Good.
Well, I hope we can get there. We could do this in person at some point. That would be a pleasure.
That would be
great. Marla Skiko, Global Head of Media at Ford. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Who would you like to meet on future episodes? Please let us know in the comments below. Subscribe to our channel, where you will also find previous guests, including leading media executives from companies like P&G, L'Oreal, Mars, MasterCard, and many more. Plus some of the industry's most provocative thought leaders, such as Belinda Smith, Jerry Dakin, Professor Mark Ritson, Nadine Karp-McHugh, and Gary Vaynerchuk. You can also subscribe to get new episodes each week, and if you like this episode and think someone else would, then please do share it. Thanks so much for watching.